I don't cover some of the questions you have, or you think of questions during the presentation, don't worry. I'm going to stay up here. I'll be up here for about 15 or 20 minutes after the presentation to answer questions. And then if there's more questions, at about 15 to the hour, we'll clear the room out and I'll go out in the hall and be available to answer any additional questions. So don't worry, we'll get all of your questions answered today. Plants, I'm going a little too fast here. Plants are amazing, powerful organisms. They help us with so many aspects of our life. In fact, plants are at the foundation of many of the products that are used with traditional medicine nowadays. So when you're getting a prescription or you go to the doctor, many of the medicines that are prescribed to you are founded in plant-based technology and wisdom. And so indigenous cultures have used plants for centuries to treat their people, to help topically as well as overall health in their cultures. And we have what you call ethnobotanists. Those are scientists who go and live among indigenous cultures and study what they do. Study things that they've been using for centuries that have been wisdom that's been passed down from generation to generation. They study this and bring that knowledge back to us, which we can then convert into products. So, one of the world's foremost leading ethnobotanists is Dr. Paul Cox. He is world-renowned and recognized as one of the best that is out there. And we have partnered with him for years now, and most recently on this project with our Epic Essential Oils. So for decades, Nu Skin has actually already harnessed this knowledge. This is nothing new to us. We have used botanicals and plant-based extracts in our supplements, our dietary supplements, like I said, for decades, as well as some of our Nu Skin products, especially in the Epic line. Our scientists are experts at ethnobotanicals, expert at plant-based extracts. In fact, our company has set industry standards in establishing proper protocol and procedures for extracting and purifying plants and using them in products, and most especially guaranteeing efficacy and the right levels for each batch and each bottle that you buy. Something that we've been renowned with for our Pharmanex products especially. Essential oils are actually botanicals. They are actually plant extracts. So while the essential oil category is new for us, ethnobotanicals and botanical extracts are not. This is old hat for Nu Skin. So let's start. I know many of you in this audience are familiar with essential oils. You love them. You've got a good foundation. But others in the audience that you're new. You've never tried essential oils yet. This is brand new. So I want to start at the beginning of the foundation. What is an essential oil? An essential oil is the fragrant compound that is extracted from a plant. Now, they call it a volatile fragrant compound. Volatile simply means that it evaporates quickly. And so we can extract these compounds from many parts of the plant. It can come from the seed, can come from the flower, can come from the leaf, from the roots, from the stem, even from the bark. We can extract these essential oils. So this is a picture of our peppermint process. So just wanted to walk you through a little bit more detail on some of our essential oils. So here on the left, you can see a picture of the peppermint being planted. In the top middle picture, you can see it being cultivated. And then the bottom middle picture, you can see we're actually harvesting the peppermint. You can see that little tractor there that's being pulled, or the trailer that's being pulled behind the tractor. That's actually a very special trailer that is designed. It pulls up straight to a distillery where we actually extract the oils on site. Now this is a really interesting process, so I want to give you a few more details about this. There's two main ways to extract essential oils. You can do it through cold pressing or expression. That simply means it's very similar to what it sounds like. We're using literally tons of pressure to squeeze out and extract oils. So that would be like a citrus peel. When you squeeze that citrus peel, when you're peeling the orange and you see the burst of spray that comes out, that pressure is extracting and you're bursting out that fragrant essential oil. That's what cold pressing is. The most popular way to, or the most common way to extract oils is through distillation. And this is the distillation process. So when that trailer pulls up, it connects to a boiler. This boiler will send steam into the trailer, and that steam will rise up through the peppermint. As it's rising up through the peppermint, it pulls out the essential oils with it. Now, as the steam and the essential oils rise, it will go into the vapor pipe that you see right there. That vapor pipe, as it's going through that vapor pipe, it then feeds to the condensing oil. The condensing coil is where it then cools down. As it cools down, it then feeds into what's called a separator, where the water is separated out, and then we're left with a pure peppermint essential oil. So that's the process for steam distillation. We at Nu Skin combined ethnobotanical wisdom with Nu Skin science, and that is what gives us our epic essential oils. So I want to walk you through this a little bit in more detail. But first, before I tell you about what makes us so different, let me set the stage for you. So are all essential oils the same? Of course not. You often pay for what you get. You could go to any grocery store and get a very cheap version of essential oil, and it's nice. There's some good products out there, but there's more to be offered, and that's what I want to explain. So here's some list of bad to good types of essential oils that you can find. So that first bullet point is laboratory chemicals. This means a scientist has gone into a lab and they've actually engineered and created an essential oil. So it's not natural, it's not harvested or planted, it's actually created. And they create it to smell like and be similar to whatever the compound is, be it lavender or peppermint. But it is, because it is not natural, it doesn't have all the beneficial properties that we want. So the next bullet point is kind of a compromise between the two. The next group of oils out there combines these created in the laboratory chemicals with the natural oils to then kind of compromise and give you a little bit of both. So then the third one is using a mix of natural smelling oils. So it's all natural, but here's the problem. It's what we call an adulterated version of the pure form. So here's a specific example for you. Nu Skin, as you know, is a multi-billion-dollar company. We're huge. We're all over the world. As soon as manufacturers started to hear Nu Skin is going to be producing and developing essential oils, we had manufacturers coming out of the woodwork trying to get our business. And so one thing that, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, I'm known for doing that, but I'll just give you this little tidbit and then get back on track. One thing that sets us apart is our labs. We have literally millions of dollars of equipment and labs. In fact, I was just recently producing a video with one of our scientists, Doug Stevenson, and as we were filming this video, we walked over to the labs to look at some of the machines that I'm actually going to tell you about a little bit more in this presentation. And we went to the first room and he started joking. He's like, Anganel, do you know that we call this our $2 million room? I was like, no. And he's like, we have literally $2 million worth of equipment in this room. And he said, next door is the $1 million room, and then there's the lab after that, and the lab after that, and the lab after that. So literally we have millions of dollars in just room after room after room of laboratories at Nu Skin. One thing that is quite unique to Nu Skin is that we do our own testing. Most of the most well-known essential oil people out there are relying on manufacturers to do the testing. They require the testing, which is excellent, kudos, but they will actually rely on them to do the testing. Nu Skin does not operate that way. We do all of the testing in-house. So getting back on track now, back to this third bullet point of adulterated forms of the real thing. One of our manufacturers came to us and said, lavender. We produce lavender for A company and B company and C company. You know them, they're the best out there. You want our lavender, we're the best. So we say, great. They say, hey, here's our GCMS testing. I'll tell you what that means later. It shows that this is great lavender. We said, perfect, give us a sample. What? Yeah, give us a sample, we're going to do the testing. So we do the testing, and sure enough, we had an adulterated form of lavender. There is a plant called lavandin. It looks like lavender, smells like lavender, it's not lavender. It is on accident and sometimes on purpose, but let's say it's always on accident. On accident, sometimes manufacturers will use it instead because it grows much faster and much more abundantly. Thus, it's cheaper to produce and much more cost-effective for the manufacturer. But it doesn't have all of the beneficial properties of pure lavender. So because we had that equipment ourselves, our scientists were able to detect that and then reject this and say, you know, we only work with the best manufacturers. We felt like they tried to slip something past us, and so we said we won't be using you. So that's just one example. And then, of course, you have the last example, which is the pure essential oils, and that is what we want in our product. So how does Nu Skin ensure purity in our essential oils? I'm so glad you asked. This is my favorite part of the presentation, and this is the one I have to be careful I don't get derailed during and take up the whole time. Okay, we're right on track so far with time. So this is our 6S quality process. A lot of people talk about purity, but they don't define exactly how they achieve that, and this is that definition for you. I want to walk you through each of those S's and give you examples of what we're doing. So in the selection process, we scour the globe for the best plants. We look at things like lavandin versus lavender. We look at things like different forms of peppermint and different species until our scientists are able to determine which of all the many different cousins of a plant are the very best. And that is what we select to use in our product. Well, once we've selected the best ingredients, we then need to go source and find those ingredients. That's your second S. So sourcing the ingredients, we are doing everything from going to the actual farms where it's being grown to inspecting the plants where it's being manufactured so that we can guarantee that they are doing things up to our quality standards and ensuring, in fact, we actually have full-time employees that are dedicated, that's their whole job, doing random site inspections. They never know, sometimes actually they do know when we're going to show up, but the majority of times it's random so that it keeps people honest. So the third S is specification. I don't know if specification or standardization is my favorite, but it's one of these two. I just love these two steps right here. So the third S, specification, means we're going in and we're creating like a map or a recipe or almost like laws. Like these are the laws for this product that you have to guarantee and show through testing that you are being consistent with each time. What that means is every bottle of product you get is going to be ensured to be at those levels. So we're measuring, we want peak, I'm jumping ahead of myself. We want, I'm going to tell you a little bit more detail about this testing, but you'll see later on some testing that I'll show you that will have peaks at certain areas and lows in other areas. And we can actually specify, we want the peak at this level, we want the low at this level. It ensures that you have certain quantities of these pure oils that are at the right levels that then will guarantee what we want to have happen. So that's specification. We're creating that map, that set of laws that are required to produce that product. But then you get into standardization, which is very closely related. Standardization is where we go and guarantee that they're following our specifications. So we go in at the beginning, at the middle, and at the end. we'll go in